What is going on, everyone? My name is Ryan Prentice, a Riley Crypto Guy, and I would like to welcome you back to the Master Podcast, Mini Pods. In this episode, Nestor and I explain why cryptocurrency was created. If y'all haven't seen the full podcast, I highly suggest you do so. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at the Master Notes, and someone on our team will be happy to answer them. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this clip from our episode, What is Cryptocurrency?
That in itself is very important to understand. You need to know what are cryptocurrencies. But I feel like the second most important question is why was it created? Because why even have a new type of currency if we don't need it?
So cryptocurrency was actually created because back in 2008, we're having a huge crisis within our economy, not just here, but globally. And so someone named Satoshi Nakamoto, it's a pseudonymous person. We don't actually know who this person is or if it's a group or an entity. They just went by the pseudo-anonymous name, Satoshi Nakamoto, and they realized that banks had a lot of power, right? They were either giving out money to people they weren't supposed to give out money to, or they were using money in ways that they shouldn't have been using money. And so what Satoshi Nakamoto did was he realized there needs to be a change, right? There needs to be some sort of backup plan because right now with the way our current banking system is, it's not working. It's failing us. And so what he decided to do was create a banking system that didn't necessarily require a middleman to control it. It was all autonomous. And so he created what's called and known today as Bitcoin. It was one of the first cryptocurrencies to come out. It kind of set the standard of how cryptocurrencies should run and operate. And to this day, it hasn't really failed anyone. I don't think it's failed at all, to be honest. And so, although it hasn't been out for a very long time, cryptocurrency or Bitcoin really set the standard for its creation, and was kind of like created to combat banks, right? Because without a middleman, you don't necessarily need any regulation by anyone or any party or any entity with their own agenda in mind, right? And so with that being said, the reason why it was created was really to combat our traditional banking system and find an alternative form of banking that wouldn't necessarily require as much control from a middleman, but really would allow anyone to utilize it anytime, anywhere.
Bitcoin is a banking structure basically without a bank. And not only does it not require a bank, but it doesn't require the government, right? Because the government actually controls all the types of money that we've had before Bitcoin. Yeah, so governments like the U.S., they control the U.S. dollar. Canada's controlling the Canadian dollar. Japanese are controlling the Japanese yen. And before that, there was no other way to get around using that money. And the reason you might need to use that money or get out of that money actually is because your dollar is constantly losing value. And Bitcoin was created not only to combat banks, not only to combat governments, but also to combat inflation. So Bitcoin was created with a couple of philosophies in mind, one of them being value, right? They wanted to create something that is not only valuable, but also earns value over time. And the reason it earns value is due to scarcity. Another thing that is very important is anonymity. They want it to be sort of like a cash, right? When you think about the $20 bill, I can spend that anywhere in the U.S. because it's a $20 bill, right? We're in the U.S. Anybody can use it. And they don't really care who I am, right? Because a $20 bill is a $20 bill, so it shouldn't really matter. Same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. As long as somebody accepts it, there is no real need to understand the other person. They don't really need to know my name. With credit cards, not only do they know your name, they know where you live, they know who you are, they know where you work, they know how much money you make, how many kids, how many baby mamas you got. So this is pretty insane, right? How they have all this information just for me to buy $20 worth of sodas at the liquor store. So anonymity, value. They also want it to be fair, right? So anybody in the entire world could utilize it as long as you have some Wi-Fi, as long as you have some type of application. So these are all some of the philosophies that cryptocurrency really keeps within its, I would say, protocol. And not every cryptocurrency has these same values. And you have to kind of distinguish them when you're researching that.
Here at the Masternodes, we are not making any claims as to income you may earn. Before entering any agreement, please use caution and seek the advice of a professional advisor, such as attorney or financial advisor.
Please ensure your own research is done before investing any money into the market.